Hello guys, it's yoUCee here, and today we are having 36.2.2 patch notes. Yep. And we will start with the dev comments, right? Well met. We have been closely monitoring player feedback and gameplay data since the last balance update. While the current top decks are relatively close in power level, many players have expressed frustration with some of the format's most common play patterns and the lack of variety among competitive options. Since our balance strategy is about more than just card stat power levels, we are making several significant changes aimed at reducing those frustrations and opening the door for a wide range of strategies to succeed. I really like this warm message here. So the first change, Warden Maya 14 to 13 dev comment. Maya has often felt difficult to answer when played on turn 2. Yeah, because she's having 4 health, right? So always difficult. Either it's Aggro Paladin, which I played. Of course, I didn't showcase it on the channel because I'm not vibing with it as much. And then Z Shaman, that's where she truly shined. I even tried OTK Priest with Maev, right? It's like you have to play her and Dios and stuff. Yeah, like it's not a big nerf, but it's a significant nerf in the way that you can deal with her, basically. You can have an answer, and most classes can deal with 3 health instead of 4. Reducing her health should create more opportunities for counterplay while maintaining her buffing power. So the buff remains the same, only the stat point is reduced by 1, the health. I think that's an excellent nerf. Now, Daleo Goon. Hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. From 1 mana 1/3 it goes to a 2 mana 2/3. Mugsy, this is the card that I didn't know what they are going to do. There were a lot of speculations in the Hearthstone community, but let's see what the devs have done. New Mugs Magic. Hero power gain unlocks on turn 3. So which means the same hero power exists, but the first 2 turns you're going to not have access to this. And yesterday when I saw the top meta, Mug is still looking powerful, but of course it's just an initial impression. The top 100 meta still shows that this deck is not that much impacted. I'll be happy to be wrong here. Let's see what the dev comments say. Dev comments, one of the most common player frustrations we have seen is how quickly Mug Shaman can snowball games. We are delaying access to Mug's hero power until turn 3. Yep. Very interesting change. But the impact is, I would say it's still good. But that's the idea, right? You don't want to kill the deck. But is it significantly weaker for other decks to shine? I mean, like slowing down this deck so other decks have a good counterplay chance? That's my... I have my doubts on this one. I will not be surprised if there is an optimal list. And some people are talking even about West Shaman, but I don't know how good West Shaman is. But we will see as the meta develops. Next, Confront the Tol'vir. Woohoo! I think they finally killed the card. Maybe let's see. Hold 5 mana, replay all 1-cost cards you played this game, targets enemies if possible. New 4 mana, summon each 1-cost minion you played this game. So just summon 1-cost minions, no targets if possible because there are no spells, right? Dev comments. We have continued to hear feedback about the repetitive nature of Confront the Tol'vir and the amount of value it can generate from a single card. Changing it to work only with minions puts a natural cap on its potential while also reducing the card draw and sustain that allowed Hunter to keep pressure on opponents for extended periods past what we would typically expect from an aggressive deck. So very much, but I think this card is I think it's Rip Tol'vir, I guess. Next, Arcane Tripwire. Old, deal 5 damage split among all enemies. New is deal 4. This is what I expected. A slight nerf, but because of Tol'vir, I don't know. Face Hunter seems to be the deck of yesterday, I guess. Jade Guardians! One of the most, old 3 mana, new 5 mana. Dev comment, similar to Mug Shaman and Maiev. Jade Guardians can often create insurmountable boards as early as turn 5-6. I'm adding that in. Board states earlier than we would like. We are increasing the mana cost to maintain its high value output and push those massive turns later. So from 3 to 5. So even with prep, now it goes back to 3. Let's see. And by the way, I've been trying Aggro. The video hopefully will come later today. It's a lot of fun. Requiem was playing yesterday. Okay, we are having the dust eligibility. Let's see for the buff side. Dev comments, on the buff side, our focus was primarily on underperforming decks and classes that have struggled to keep pace with the current format. Rather than relying entirely on straightforward stat increase, many of these changes reshape cards to better support the strategies they are meant to enable. In some instances, the mana cost of cards increased so that we could significantly increase the overall power of the card's effect. Interesting, right? I have never seen this kind of buff in my recent memory. Correct me if I'm wrong here. Any patch intended to significantly shake up the metagame, there is always some uncertainty about where things will ultimately land. We are paying especially close attention to how the format develops. After these changes go live, the next major update will be the release of class sets. Yeah, they have released the 4 new cards for the 4 new class sets coming later this month. We'll have a separate video on that. I don't want to mix that with this one. Followed by another schedule balance pass, giving us additional opportunities to make adjustments as the meta continues to evolve. We are looking forward to seeing what new decks emerge. Okay. And hearing your feedback along the way. Okay. Yeah, Lotus Kingpin above. Old, this is the deck I was playing. Old Balcry, pick an updated counterfeit to replace your coins. This game, get 2. Now it's get 3. And I played a few games and AR Blackpaw and then into Ashman is nuts. Or even if you get the Kazakh's coin and high roll a bit, you can do quite a bit of face damage and get lethal. I don't know, like this deck is a lot of fun. Blazing Invocation. This old Discover a Valkyrie new, it cost 1 less, so they just reverted the nerf to this. With some of Mug Shaman's strongest tools being scaled back this patch, we are restoring Blazing Invocation to its original power level. Makes sense. Soul Immolation. Old is 3, new is 2. Still haven't reservations on how powerful this is. I hope it's not too powerful, but not a believer on this one yet. But this one, right? This enables a OTK strategy because this, it's a bigger picture. You have to combine it with this, right? So we will see first Irida's Sinseeker. Old, send your deck to the void. At the start of your turns, get 2 cards from the void. Same thing except 1. So this means, it's the exact same card, but you have 1 card in your deck. So it can help you shuffle your tradables and still do the OTK, I guess. Next one, Hellraiser now has Taunt. So this also goes into the Sinseeker deck. Yeah, it does have Taunt, but the same stats still exist. So ideally, after you draw the except 1 card, right? Then you can play this, but I'm not a believer on Hellraiser, by the way. But Soul Immolation fits naturally into the Sinseeker if you're doing the OTK combo. Crowd Control. Interesting buff. Hold 3 mana, deal 2 damage to all minions. If you have 25 or more cards in your deck, deal 2 more. This is new is 5 mana, deal 2 damage to all minions twice. So they are giving you the payoff upfront. If you have 25 or more cards in your deck, it costs 2 less. So basically, you are getting the payoff either way. Even if you are running a small deck, you will get the same payoff. But you can only exercise a mana cheat if you play Hogger, basically, right? Woohoo! Volcanus! Hold at the end of your turn, deal 2 damage to all other minions. And the plumes of Volcanus are 1/4, now they are 1/5, and they deal 3 damage. Very interesting. I saw Funky Monkey having a mage list. We'll just see that now. So if you see here, right, it's the Funky Monkey has created burn mage list, and you can see it runs Volcanus and it runs the Code Violet. That's also a new card. Of course, Trickster also, right? Yeah, Trickster also got buffed. We will see that. But this was an interesting burn mage list that I saw from Funky Monkey. He says, absolutely loving the new buff in the latest balance patch. Here is 2 big winners from the patch. Irida DH and Prepare Mage. Both decks went an easy 5-0 and felt very strong now. So this one is running, okay, Eternal Stronghold, no minion Demon Hunter. Or is it? Wait a minute. Yeah, because you send your deck to the void, right? So the Eternal Hold will work. Interesting. No minion Demon Hunter. I didn't think about this one. Yeah, this is also interesting list. Next one. Yeah, this is another buff, right? To the mage. Improviser. Hold 4 mana 4/4. If you cast a spell this turn, cast a random mage secret. New one, it's 5 mana actually. It's 4/3, 1 stat line reduction, but you get an extra secret. So it fits maybe into the burn mage. Let's say like it's day 1. I don't know. This list is looking decent, I would say, right? So we will see. Next one, Staff of Trickery. Hold 1/3, new is 1/4. Some people thought it was 1/4 until they saw the buff, but it was never played as much. Bonk Druid. Next one, Infest the Scullery. Now this buff is okay, but definitely the extra swing will make it is like a snowballing effect, right? Infest the Scullery. Hold 4 mana, summon a random 4-cost minion. Now this is 5 mana, just a 1 mana increase, but summon 2 random 3-cost minions. So it's like a new Jade Guardians, right? In a way. In the hindsight, if you see, it's a slower Jade Guardians. Input by heroes attacks this game. So if you can play the 1/3 spider on turn 1, it looks nutty. We'll see the decks that are popping up right now. Okay, that's about it. Now let's just see the decks that I am interested in. Then watch out for the AI gameplay video. So if you look at the decks, AI looks really strong. So deck features Ashermain, Vanessa, AI, like 3 most fun cards, right? And then you have 1 Viper for countering all the quest mage, so it has a counter potential. And then you have the Black Paw Whip that synergizes with your Kingpin. And then you are running Picklock. Yeah, the deck looked really strong. And like at least day 1 impressions, but I don't know how long it will be strong as the meta settles and you get quest mage. You can counter them, but Kingpin into Ashmain is nuts. And sometimes Kingpin into Vanessa also is nuts. Sometimes you get all the 3. Yeah, I'm really vibing with this deck. This is the most fun deck that I have played since the launch. Of course, Bonk and win. You have the attack druid. This is the list that I am seeing. We are running the 2 buff cards, right? Infest Scullery and the Staff of Trickery. And the remaining is Attack Druid list that we have here. So if you play Spiderling on 1 and start attacking, this card like gets really powerful. And then you finish with Vickerfang, right? It's like this deck looks a lot of fun. And in case you need value, you have Merithra in the end game to give you all the dragons, right? For 1 cost. Pretty nutty. Next one is Pure Paladin. Quite interesting, to be honest. Because we are running Pure Paladin with Beatrix, Commander Beatrix. And what does she have? She has this Scarlet Bruiser. So I hope this deck, shines through, because Paladin also needs a strong deck. And I think this deck could be strong. We will see. So that's all from me. Watch out for AR Lotus Kingpin gameplay video coming next. That is not in this video, in the next video. Alright, take care. Bye bye.